This is about the video gaming industry, and this is Pro V, because the example is V. And how many of you are fans of video games? You know, the exact definition is young males, and I'm so happy to see that you are still in that. Yes, so that young males definition sometimes extends to 40, to 50, to wherever, but the traditional market is, for the video gaming industry, is young males. Now, I have two teenage boys who are great fans, and I obviously am not. And why am I not? Because they are sitting in the living room, and they're playing and playing and playing and playing. And if I am out on a workshop and I go back home at 6, still sitting there and playing, right? And there are a number of other, of course, factors that make me dislike it. There is no interaction between me and him. What happens when I try to play with him? I've tried to play with him, by the way. He doesn't want to play with me because I lose, right? I can't control that that 3D controller, and somehow he doesn't want to play with me. I would rather have him like go and play tennis outside because it's healthy, it has more active and so on. And what do you think they are playing? Like, I can fully control that he doesn't go and watch R-rated movies, but he is playing E-rated or M-rated games, which are violence, and which are M-rated for violence and blood violence. So all they are doing is shh. That's all that's going on, right? I definitely don't like it, and so do most of the other moms, people that I know. What is the industry doing? So it's Microsoft, Xbox, and PlayStation. What do they believe? They believe that every 3 or 4 years there has to be a new console, which is supposedly have to have higher processing power, more HD TV compatibility, non-gaming functionality, DVD resolution, HD resolution, I don't know. So many things which basically mean more technological advancement, millions of dollars going into research, R&D, so that PlayStation 3 comes out better than the Xbox. And so they keep on fighting with each other as to who comes up with a better version. The available game titles, of course, are on a decline. Fighting, right? Now, Nintendo Wii is the example of a company which is not like looking back at history, but really applying the tools of Blue Ocean strategy to create their Blue Ocean. So the president says, we are not competing against Sony or Microsoft. We are battling the indifference of people who have no interest in video games. We want to appeal to mothers who don't want consoles in their living rooms. They want to appeal to me, right? And to the elderly and to young women. So that is where they started. This is the market. These are the young males who are outside of it. Why are mothers outside of it? Why are the elderly people outside of it? What can they change so that they can target that market where the competitors are not focused on? So let's again see a little video of what they did and the markets that they went after, and I'll show you what their results are. What do you think I've been suggesting to my son to get for his birthday for the last 3 years? He still doesn't want to have it. He doesn't like it. He is the target market. Nintendo is not better serving the existing target market. I was impressed when I went to I worked with Ohio State University Medical Center last year, and they had a requirement that all of their rehab centers had to have a Nintendo Wii there because they are using it for therapy and they are using it for keeping the older people engaged and so on. What do you think happens when the granddad goes fishing with his grandson? Who wins? Generally, granddad wins. And then the son is, next day when he's coming back from school, he's the one he wants to get hold of again because he wants to beat him, right? So it brings the families together and so on. And what are the results? The Nintendo Wii has been selling at the rate of 1 unit per second since its launch on 19th November 2006. And it is because we all have become markets for the Nintendo Wii. To buy it for our children, to buy it for our brother, for this, for that. And profits reached 1.5 billion, which is 442,000 per employee in 2007, much more than what Google and Sony did. Now, what's the most interesting part? Did anybody notice the high-resolution 3D graphics there? No. So the most interesting part over here is that whereas the industry loses, while Sony loses $240 to $300 on each console sold, Nintendo is making $50 on each unit. Industry believed that you do not make money on the consoles, you make money on the games. And that number of games is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, right? Nintendo is using a processor which is 10 years old. And that is why they have been able to make money on the console. So every console sold, they make money on it. They are not targeted on the improving the processing power, improving the graphics, and so on. So they are making money on the consoles. Secondly, because they are using this 10-year-old processor, they have a huge pool of games that, for example, I learned. So I can play golf, and I can play tennis, and I can enjoy those games. Right? So again, let's see the same pattern here. That Nintendo eliminated and reduced what? Not what they just thought they should, but things that reduced the industry cost structure. Processing power, non-gaming functionalities, R&D into technological advancement. Raised and then created just these two new factors which the industry had not thought of before. Can you see the same pattern again? Increasing value for the buyers or the non-customers while reducing the cost structure for the industry. And so that, again, is the strategic logic of Blue Ocean strategy.